Hi guys, a quick introduction to this video. I'm going to be videoing a video, so I'm not sure how well this is going to come out, but it's the only way I can do it really without piss-arsing around too much. So it's only a 12-minute long video. I'm going to scroll through the bits that you know, are not irrelevant, but just, you know, the bits that aren't really necessary. So basically we have this gentleman you see at the beginning of the video. Is obviously a homeless guy. He's saying that he can't be recorded and they need his permission to record. Two guys just taking photography in the street. I'll give you a link to both of their channels. It's Nosy Bastard and Urban Explorer. This is in Nottingham Town Centre in the UK. Right, basically this guy is adamant that they can't film him without his permission, even though on the other video it clearly shows that they're pointing the camera down that way of the road, and this guy actually came from behind the cameras and walked in front of the cameras and then started going on about, you haven't got my permission to record me, etc, etc. Now, I'm not beating up on the guy. He's homeless, so obviously, you know, obviously doesn't know the law, etc, etc, so I'm not going to beat up on him too much, but it's the reaction of the police and the community protection officers, who are just unwarranted officers, so they've got no powers of arrest, but you know, they just patrol the streets because obviously they had huge cuts to police numbers, so they obviously intervene and start questioning, etc, etc, as you'll see in the video. So I'll try and skip through the juicy bits, as it were, and get to the point. Now, the point in this, the police here are just ridiculous beyond belief, right? Ridiculous. They can't follow the law, or they just don't know the law. I don't know which one it is, but either way it's unacceptable, because the bottom line is either they know the law and they're ignoring it, or they don't know the law, which is also unacceptable. So either way, you know, that's why they're looking like wallies. Right, okay, so we'll start the video. I've turned the sound up as much as I can, so hopefully it should work okay. Right, so here we go. Sorry about the guy on the bongos. We're going to skip through to 42 seconds. So now the guy comes back on the screen. I don't know if you can see it, but he's giving them the wanker sign. So that's that. So he goes down the road, complains to these two idiots. This video pretty much speaks for itself, and this part of the video will pretty much speak for itself.
He hasn't given you permission to film him. Oh, yeah. So, do you mind if you just put your cameras the other way while you're filming? No. See what I mean? Why not? I'm not going to told what to do. Why, because I gave you permission to film me. Yes? Have you got any concept of the law? It's against the law, bro. What I'm saying is, he's just taking offence to being on camera. He doesn't want to be on camera. He's free to walk down about 4 streets. I'm not going to argue with you. I don't want to argue with you either. Just turn your back on me and ignore me, right? I know my rights, mate. See what I mean? No, I'm all supposed to cancel.
Right, okay, there, bang on cue, we have a crime. The homeless guy's now threatening to smash their cameras up so they can't record anymore. That is a breach of the peace, and we'll come back to that in a minute, because it'll be interesting later on in this video to see how this breach of the peace is dealt with, because it's not. It's actually goes to show how badly these police are either trained, or they're trained properly and they just choose not to enforce the law when it should be enforced. So here the guy, and I'm not beating up on the homeless guy, but he's threatening to smash up the cameras, which is a breach of the peace, and we'll come back to that later in the video. Right, so
Simple as that, isn't it?
No, he's threatening to smash cameras up.
Right, okay, so we get that confirmed by the videographer, threatening to smash up the cameras. So we're going to jump to 357. Now, the first idiot community protection officer didn't get any joy out of the videographer, so his mate comes back for a second bite of the cherry, as they always do. So we'll watch this idiot number 2.
It's only a polite request, it's only fair. If people don't want to be filmed, it's only fair that you don't film them. Is it not?
Mate, just turn your back.
I'm not asking questions. It's my right to ask you questions, that's all.
Well,
It's not your right to ask anybody anything. You haven't got a right to ask questions, you're just allowed to.
I'm asking you, have you a name?
Prick.
May I ask you a name? Have you got a name,
just
please?
not getting the message, is it?
No name at all. You got,
Just go and do something useful with it.
I'm asking questions, that's all. Don't know who we're talking to. We've spoken to 2 guys filming on...
A public street, yeah, 2 guys filming on a public street. Fuck knuckle.
Mate, just don't even talk to him, just let him get on with it. Just let him walk off.
I'm not walking on, I'm just asking
So
you.
what, you're not going to walk off, you're just going to stand there all night.
It looks a bit. I'm just asking a question, and you're not answering us.
Don't bother asking questions, right? Because I ain't going to be answering any questions. Alright? That's as quiet as I'm going to be with you.
This is the bit I like as well. Not satisfied that this gentleman, the videographer, Urban Explorer, is not answering any questions. Go away, I'm not interested in talking to you. He gets all a little butthurt, and then he goes with the, well, I've having no joy with this bloke, so I'll go and try the other bloke. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, anyway.
Do you mind answering any questions? You don't want to, you don't need to either.
Yeah, that's right, he doesn't need
Any
to.
reason why you don't want to like...
Yes, because I don't have to, you idiot.
Answer questions. Only simple questions.
Right, so they've obviously been on the radio to the proper bobbies now, and these idiots show up. See if we can get it. Here they come. You'll see them just down here as they crash across the curb because it's so urgent they have to come to the aid of these 2 idiots. Who responded by calling more idiots, because obviously 2 idiots isn't enough to deal with a perfectly legal situation, so they have to get more idiots in. Oh, as he just bumps the curb there, yeah, brilliant bit of driving there. So we're going to scroll forward to, right, here we go, here's the first one. Oh, sorry, an advert kicks in there, doesn't it? So sorry, I'll have to skip that.
Imagine throwing a party at your house and your friends start...
What can you help me with?
Did I meet you last night?
No.
No? How many people you got watching us? You film quite well.
Is there anything I can help you with?
I'm just asking what you film, mate.
Right, are you interested in photography or?
I'm actually
Alright.
just curious what you thought. You going to ignore me?
Not ignoring you, I'm just don't answer questions. Unless you want to talk about photography and what cameras and what equipment we've got, we'll talk to you about my equipment.
Go on then.
Anything else?
What camera have you got?
Canon 5D Mark III. 24 to 105 lens height, L series, nice and sharp, nice and clear.
I'm sorry, take phone.
Camera body was 1500 quid, lens 400.
400?
Right, so 2 community protection officers and a warranted officer are now in attendance. I believe there's another police officer in the other vehicle that I just showed you, and now another 2 police officers turn up. Because obviously it now takes 4 police officers and 2 community protection officers to violate the rights of 2 individual photographers taking pictures in a public place.
2 police cars. I know the way this is going to go. What are your names, where you're from, all the rest of it. That's why I'm not answering questions.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
He's not just asking about camera equipment. He's doing an investigation on us and who we are and what we're doing. Quite simple. And he's done this on the strength of the research.
Right, so the reason I'm going to leave the link to the original video, which is on Nosy's channel, and I'll put the links to both of their channels, so Urban Explorer and Nosy Bastard. What I'll do is, because I'm not sure how well you can hear the audio on this video, so at least you can scroll back, but this is more of my sort of opinion as to what has gone on here and what should have gone on. You can't see him in the video, but I'll point him out to you when he gets out of the car. Do you have a... Hang on, let's go back to the... That's it.
Chaps, I've got no issue with you filming at all. Yeah. It's just some of the members of the public taking offence to it and they don't like it.
Right, so I have no problem with you filming at all, but some members of the public take offence to it. Well, tough shit, they can be offended, okay?
See where I'm coming from. If you got a valid reason to be filming.
Have you got a valid reason to be filming? Do I need a valid reason? What constitutes a valid reason to exercise my right to a free press?
A valid reason. What exactly are you saying?
I've just said to repeat myself.
So, obviously,
Have I got a valid reason?
more idiots need to be getting out the car.
Yes, thanks, yeah. What's the reason for not telling them what's going on?
What's the reason? Right, this cop logic. What's the reason for not telling us what's going on? Isn't it obvious what's going on? They have cameras. What's the reason for not telling us what's going on? Because there's nothing going on. We're taking pictures in a public place. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do is we're going to quickly just pause it again, and we need to concentrate on this idiot right here, because we're going to concentrate on what he says when he involves himself in the conversation. Just going to scroll forward. I think it's there.
There's nothing wrong with that. No need to be so rude about it.
So answering questions apparently is being rude. Not answering questions apparently is being rude.
Yeah, it's just some photography I've just said. As long as they're not antagonising people later on, causing a breach of peace, and...
Oh, antagonising people later on and causing a breach of the peace, which has already occurred in the presence of the two officers earlier in the high-vis jackets. So you're not going to follow up on that breach of the peace, but you might just, you know, stick a charge of breach of the peace onto somebody just in case, you know, that wasn't doing anything wrong whatsoever.
No, it's not an issue. I just don't want them to come to any harm, that's all.
You can just ask people if they don't mind being recorded. It's common courtesy.
It's just polite, really.
Because not everyone wants to be recorded.
So do the police ask you if they don't mind recording you when they put their body cameras on? No, they don't. Do every security camera in the country, you know, one camera for every 14 people in this country, do they ask for permission before they take your picture when you're walking down the high street? No, they don't. So shut up, stop talking bollocks.
Recorded when they're doing the job. You know, later on when revellers are out and they're drunk and they're disorderly.
Oh, I don't know if you can hear that, right? But let's just go back 2 seconds for that. So here's Officer Twit.
Revellers are out and they're drunk and they're disorderly.
When they're drunk and disorderly. So when people and revellers are out and they're drunk and disorderly and they take an exception to having their photograph taken or their picture taken or their videos of them taken.
Okay, and they find it offensive of why you're putting a camera and zooming in on them.
And they find it
Recording
offensive.
because they be getting aggressive. No, but you have just zoomed in on my comment.
And they might, these drunken, disorderly people might get aggressive towards you. So what's your job as a police officer then? To stop the drunken, orderly person being aggressive towards two people who aren't breaking the law. That's your job. Your job isn't there to go and say people are. So what? Are people allowed to be drunk and disorderly and aggressive towards two people who are not breaking the law, and you're threatening to them with a breach of the peace, the people who aren't breaking the law? You couldn't fucking make this shit up.
You're doing that to revelers. There's going to be members of the public walking around in a minute.
So what?
Okay, well, later on through the evening, they're going to be drunk, and they're probably not going to like the fact that a camera's being pointed at them. Okay? Like, we're just making you aware.
He's trying to give his own advice.
Okay, now if you do that, I can guarantee you're going to get some flashback from it. Do you understand that? Right, so you might be out, it's just a common courtesy to say, do you mind if we're recording?
You need to what you doing? Just
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Right.
As long as our advice is clear to you, sir, that's the main thing. Like I said, I don't want you or your equipment to come to any harm because some silly people who've had too much to drink. Do you know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah, well then protect them against the people who've had too much to drink. It's their property that's going to be, you know, potentially smashed up here. So, right, we're not giving them advice. You're just, you know, rather than just say, right, if you have any problems, lads, let us know, because what you're doing is perfectly legal. And if someone's drunk and disorderly and becomes aggressive towards you, ring us and let us know, because we'll come out here and look after you. Because that's our job. We're supposed to look after members of the public who aren't committing any crimes and who are totally innocent. Nah, you have to talk bullshit is what you have to do.
There's no offences of filming in public, but what I'm saying is, don't get yourself into any bother and just try and avoid it and keep it peace.
Right, just get back in your car and piss the fuck off. Driving on the pavement as well, you know, it's okay to drive on the pavement, though, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, we'll end that video there, and then I'm just going to go back and do a couple of things. Right. Here we go. Do the police know the law? No, they bloody well don't. Right. Definition of breach of the peace. A breach of the peace had or would occur, and that it related to harm which was actually done or likely to be done to a person or, in his or her presence, their property. So, as you saw earlier, at 2 minutes 37 seconds, the homeless guy threatens to smash their cameras, which again is likely to be, you know, harm which is likely to be done to a person or their property. So he committed a breach of the peace right there and then, in the presence of two officers. They're not warrant officers, so they don't have the powers of arrest. They're community protection officers, which are supposed to be protecting the community. These two gentlemen taking pictures in a public place are obviously members of the community, but they don't warrant protection from having their cameras smashed. Oh, okay, is that how the law works? Right, okay. So then you can go to drunk and disorderly, and here it is, drunkenness in a public place, blah, 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 blah. Look it all up for yourself. So again, like what I'm saying, it's just madness. They're saying, you know, so the police aren't there to protect completely innocent people carrying out a lawful, if not what, protected right under freedom of press. Yeah? Because would all of this have happened if the BBC were out there photographing? The BBC don't go around asking people, would you mind if I include you in our video? They don't. They just carry on recording because that's what you do. Nobody has any expectation of privacy in a public place. So, here's the police. This is Nottingham Police Force acting like utter idiots. And again, my problem is either they know the law and they choose to ignore it, or they don't know the law. Either way, it's unacceptable, right? Either way, it's unacceptable, right? Also, I watched this video back earlier, and I turned the sound down because all I wanted to do was concentrate on members of the public walking past. And I counted 207 members of the public that walked past those cameras while they were running, or on this video only. 207 people walked past those cameras in 12 minutes, right? and nobody complained except for the guy in the beginning of the video. Okay, so you know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to protect innocent members of the public carrying out a lawful activity in a public place, and then say that it might be their fault if somebody is drunk and disorderly and becomes aggressive towards them. And somehow, you know, the photographers are therefore creating a breach of the peace. Who's threatened to harm anybody? Who's threatened to harm anyone's equipment or do anything? If someone comes out and is drunk and disorderly and starts threatening the photographers, then there is a breach of the peace. There's a threat to harm. It related to harm which was actually done or likely to be done to a person or, in his or her presence, their property. That's the law. R versus Howell. See if we can zoom in on that. There it is. R versus Howell. You couldn't make it up, mate. You could not make it up how poor, either how poor these police officers are trained, or they know what they're doing is wrong. And either way, again, it's an unacceptable situation. Can't have it anymore. So that's why we do the videos. If you don't get it, if you do get it, please give us a thumbs up, support the channel. I'll go over to Nosy Bastard and Urban Explorer. I'll put the links to their videos in the description. You can go and subscribe to those guys as well. So you couldn't make it up. They couldn't have got it any more wrong if they tried to get it wrong. They couldn't have got it any more wrong if they tried. Alright guys, I'll speak to you all soon, and I hope you all stay safe, well, and we'll see you all soon. Alright, take care guys.